Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Fragment Friday upload. This is a grumpy old guy gaming. We are on the V's Place server, taking a look at the keywords here for you. Level 20, Monster 90, Fort Walls, that is a level 33 Earth Field, with an incoming heavy monster before we get any buffs, because I took the time to look at those rather than do something practical. It's a metal eraser, and I can tell you from a brief bit of experience earlier in the day that this is a battle I should have pretty handily sewn up. We'll get a couple shots in on me, but nothing too major, and we could just hack our way through it. Decent bit of experience, should be in the neighborhood of 13. Yep, 13 points there. Go ahead, get our buffs up now. As per usual on Fragment Friday, links down below for the .hack network and NetSlum. .hack network, an excellent all-in-one .hack fandom source. Anything in the series and everything they will cover, including a fair bit of Fragment material, featuring the excellent How to Set Up and Play Fragment in 2021 guide. NetSlum, also the host of the lobby server, the central entity that allows area servers like V's Place, Shining Darkness, Explosion HQ, and others to run. Also a website linked below for NetSlum with superb resources like the Akashic Records, allowing you to follow your character's journey statistically throughout dungeons. And an online up-to-date status checker to see what servers are active and what servers are available before you jump on for adventure. Links to the Discord servers as well as always. Got a whole bunch of trouble out of that portal. Looks like a couple bone armies, a metal eraser, and a mage. Looks like a grand colt. In fact, is a grand colt, and we will take that out before chancing the pair of bone armies, with their ability to shred our hit points to nothing in no time flat. Down to one bone army and a metal eraser, so took that battle strategically well. Bone army, not too big a factor there, and we get some life drain back on consecutive shots. Before you know it, we're at full health against this metal eraser. Had to burn a couple potions there, but definitely worth it to stay alive and keep battling. Grand Colts, of course, can drop some serious damage on us being only level 30, so it was imperative to take that cautiously at first, even if it did waste a little time. Rewarded for our efforts with a pair of risky treasures, those are both yielding mages' souls, and that is nothing to scoff at. Even being a fighting first character like a heavy blade, mage's souls are very important at this point, because if you run into an enemy like a specter, casting is actually your best option versus its physical evasion, which could put you in a lot of slow misses. Just racing right past the metal eraser to get at this grand cold before it can cause too much trouble at a safe distance away. Now we are one-on-one with the metal eraser, just locked up nice and tight. Got a chest on either side of us from the sounds of it. Could just barely see a risky treasure in the very foreground underneath our portrait. That one I'm actually going to go to second because it spawned second. There should be one just behind us on the diagonal here, and that is equally risky, so it looks like we're burning a pair of fortune wires here to get some blaze armor. And a mage's soul. Okay, decent stuff all around. Taking a look at the status bar, we are at 779 experience. Not loving the bone armies in multiple here. Also notice bone armies can skill drain. Did not know that. And 2 metal erasers here. It's going to take a bit to hack through these, but we can do it. Not the heaviest hitters on their own, but in tandem they can pull a number on us, so important to be hitting accurately. Reason I've still got the Fire Lizard as my foot armor of choice. Of course, I'm getting to the point where statistically it's a bit of an antiquated piece of equipment, and I should really be looking at upgrading and moving to Hunter's Bloods. Downside of those is they're consumable and I need to keep buying them. Nice side is they go off at instant speed and I'm not stuck in a casting animation. Get the Hang Command. And burn one of our newly acquired Mage's Souls. Get back up to 70 just as our buffs run out for the first time. Still about a handful of portals left in the field here. And before we get to the next one, we are cut off by a wandering metal eraser. Again, may not be the most exciting battle here, but it's certainly one I could come in for some close-up shots. If you got to this video, chances are the thumbnail looked something like what you're seeing here. If you didn't get to this video, how the hell are you hearing it? Just a random thought. Just 563 health left, and falling fast for the metal eraser. Some life drain helps keep us around the 500 hit point mark. Of course, we're only starting at 680, so it's much less impressive for the monster to knock us under 500 than it is for us to knock them under. Saw the faint glow of a fiery symbol offering us at bats a nice little boost to our fire element, and here comes all kinds of trouble. Grand Colds and metal erasers rolling up on us like a crazy bunch of trick-or-treaters as we get close to the trick-or-treat season. Of course, Halloween also a fantastic time for custom dungeons. Last year we had custom dungeons rolling right up into Halloween here at Fragment. Not sure if we'll see the same zeal and gusto for it. But a very memorable Halloween week for me, as it seemed like the uploads started and just didn't stop those last few days. Of course, I'd like to think I've grown a bit, and my production methods certainly have in both quality and time. Whether the content is of any better quality is a subjective matter, and probably not best answered by yours truly. But the important thing is we're having fun here, and more so that this metal eraser isn't. We're down under 300 hit points, so it's time to start looking a little cautious, but we did pick up a little bit of life there from the life drain, keeping us afloat through this metal eraser battle, and allowing us to save our consumables and just cast some all rep after. Always nice when you can economize a little. Trust your character to get the work done. Speaking of the work, just a little over 100 hit points left before we level up to 31. Let's go ahead and take out this bone army first. Easily the biggest threat can drop us right quick and in a hurry. Plus we can life drain off these metal erasers since we know we'll be working at them a while. Kinda look like some type of hard candy too, you know, and gravel. A particular Pokemon comes to mind: rocky, round shape, weird face. Lucky day for me on the symbols. Pick up Rig-Geem and Rig-Same. Unlucky day for me on this portal. 3 bone armies. Just kind of waiting in place there once the attacks started rolling. Wanted to see just how low the hit points were going. Made it through. And now with 2 bone armies down, I feel we've got a decent chance of pulling out. And in fact, we do pull the battle out and get some life drain at the end. And wouldn't you know it, fortune does indeed favor the bold. 3 risky treasures out of a 3 monster portal, giving us Blaze Armor, a Resurrect. Make that 2 Resurrects and a chance to reapply buffs, because our speed boost wore off, and that meant that our defensive buffs and Aptorv were not far behind. Also close by, but more to the side, is the last portal for this field. Go after... Well, I meant to go after that foremost Grand Cold, and missed terribly, and got in all kind of trouble. Now we're next to a bone army, and we can't even move thanks to the spells being cast. Safe to say without Rig-Same, we were kind of lost in the weeds there. Got rid of the bone army though, and now it's time to come after these Grand Colds like we were, 20 minutes into a Liam Neeson movie. Now they're gone, and I do a very stupid thing. I use Ganrom on an Earth-tolerant monster. Only faced like 100 of them today. You'd think I'd remember that Ganrom wasn't going to work on him, but, sometimes the gray matter a little grayer than usual. Mush between the ears and not much else. Eventually, we do get through the battle and pick up some Fire Drake mail and a Raging Earth. Now let's go ahead and call on our friend, the Noble Grunty, and got ourselves Dungeon Word in a hurry. Also gonna look for some root vegetable, as they are kind of difficult to come on. If you've played Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantine, or any of those titles in particular, you'll know that some of the rarer grunty foods are piney apples and root vegetables. Thanks to some of the unique quirks of some of the online servers, you can find piney apples in abundance, making root vegetable your tough to get grunty food. So generally when I'm in an earth field, I go out of my way to get those grunty foods. And Noble Grunty's great for that because it'll take you right to them. Rig-Geem wore off, Rig-Same just wore off there as we reapplied our pertinent buffs of Speed Boost, Knight's Blood, Beast's Blood, and Aptorv. Take down a Grand Cold, and there in fact is a Spectre. See, darkness tolerant, but very physically evasive, so we're just going to get into a casting battle with the Ghost. See it swinging some type of curved sword. As it casts away at us, we're going to keep a safe distance and keep casting away at it. Down under half health it is. And we park next to a warrior that didn't quite have as good a time as us. Of course, it gets to sit a lot more relaxed now. Spectre certainly isn't targeting that corpse with any spells. Fortunately, we got a nice supply of Mage's Souls between what we bought in town before the adventure and what we picked up out of treasure chests in the field. So no worries about this casting battle. Certainly not the quickest way to go about things, but it was nice, safe, and a solid 14-point game. Pick up the Lovers out of a treasure chest, moving to a risky treasure dropped by the aforementioned Spectre that's going to yield a Fire Bracer, and get the Moon out of chest number 3. Moving on to this little cutout room with a portal. I do know I skipped a chest though, so I will be going back. Taking out the Grand Cold before it can cause too much problem, and now we're after the Bone Army. For little reasons like its ability to one-shot half our health and skill drain. And now that we've taken care of those two threats, we've got a Spectre locked solidly behind a risky treasure, and we are going to be casting like our life depended on it. Lo and behold, it sorta kinda almost does. At least within the game. One more Ganrom's going to deplete our bar for all intents and purposes, so it's time to Mage's Soul up and start the trek down below 50% health for the Spectre. Casting kind of a grab bag for a heavy blade, and not always the best results, but definitely the safest grab here. Also, not the most exciting gameplay, but if you've ever been watching a video with a level 30 Heavy Blade and wondered how a level 10 Wave Master would handle the exact same situation, you can get it just like that. Speaking of just like that, requisite hit points for, requisite experience for level 31 gained. We are now up over the 700 hit point mark. Fantastic threshold to break there. Pick the levers up out of the chest we had skipped by me not being careful as to which room to grab. And before we go any further, let's cast an all rep and get ourselves back up to full. Might as well enjoy a little time at 700 hit points, as we are just barely over that line and any hit is going to drop us below. Bone Army to start us out here. A little bit of life drain. Now we're going after the Grand Cold. Take it down a couple solid shots and get away from the Spectre, but not before it takes a random swipe at us and hits with a skill drain. So we get a total of one Ganrom off for all of our efforts there. So much for being an elusive Heavy Blade. Even at 2 feet tall, we apparently have a presence about us. Battling in the center of the square. See all kind of paint on the floor, denoting the earth symbols. Three more Ganroms in the chamber. And the Spectre nowhere near hitting us in melee again, so we know our skill points are safe for those casts, and therefore the Spectre is gone without us having to use a Mage's Soul. One more Fire Drake mail to add to the inventory, as well as another pair of the Lovers, and a Raging Earth. I'm assuming it's a pair with the Lovers. It's in plural. I know it's themed after a tarot card, but bear with me here, folks. This is the most flavor I'm injecting into this. Earning a Mage's Soul to save a healing potion, as I would rather have the potions in a pinch. Raining Rocks is acquired out of that chest, and we got a couple more portals here before we make our way to floor 2. All kinds of trouble here. Got 2 Spectres and a Bone Army. Casting mainly just so I have a head start on the Spectres. Got the Bone Army out of the way, that is the major threat, as we don't want to get stuck in a casting animation just to die to a skeleton with a very sharp stick. Now we've got the Spectres kind of locked together, and that's exactly what we want to see, as our casting will have a residual bonus of A, keeping both Spectres out of melee range, and B, throwing some accessory damage on Spectre number 2. It's not a ton of damage by any means, but it is enough to keep our advantage pretty steady. Another thing we have to remind ourselves is that our hit points will be taking a fair shot here. even if they don't get into melee, simply because there's two of them casting on us. So we saw the Mage's Soul and Healing Potion combo fortunately done as the Spectres were casting again. While that doesn't seem optimal, it means that it couldn't move. Neither one of them could have moved much closer to us. As I've been yammering away here, we've dropped the first Spectre, and the second one, thanks to all of those little 4s, 5s, 6s, it's down under half, and we've got it down under 300 as of this moment. Once again, game of inches. Every little game counts. Both Spectres down, with just enough SP remaining for an all round. Immature egg there, let's go and grab that. Looks like 2 more portals before the stairs down, if my guess is correct. As typically long corridors like the one you're seeing in the upper left lead to stairs down. Bone Army taken out just off screen thanks to that torch giving us an extreme close-up. Time to go Spectre hunting, again at a safe distance. Spectre takes center stage and we will instruct it to merely get pelted with little torrents of gravel. One more Gan wrong, and the Spectre is down. Took to the very last hit on that. Did not expect that to be so close. But you know, you have this sometimes. Let's see what we get out of this portal here. Looks like a pair of Grand Colt. Didn't quite get to them in time for it to be no threat, but we luck out there at the end because the second Grand Colt went for a rare melee attack against us. Picking up the Moon. Got a risky treasure here as well, giving us a Blaze Armor and one more regular treasure, offering a Blazing Earth. Back up to 684 hit points, just about topped off. And we will begin our descent to floor 2. Floor number 2 now. Kinda gave us a bit of a tease there. Puts the stairs down directly beneath the next room, but not connected. So we've actually got a bit of a journey to get there. And from the looks of it, that's 2 floors rather full of rooms. And with the amount of time the field took to clear, I kinda feel like I'm running out of time to record this. Has not been the smoothest day for myself on a personal note, so we are going to clear all the portals we can, but if we don't get the full clear, I do apologize in advance. The goal is reaching the statue at the end intact and being able to live to tell the tale. Spectre battles certainly aren't helping us from a time perspective, I'll admit. There we go. A nice clean look at the Spectre, just far enough down the hallway that it is not threatening us in the least. Because the Anhedon it's casting is not such a big deal. I mean, we're casting Gan Rom and we are coming out sizably ahead here. course, the Spectre probably not in the works to be coming at us from a distance casting. I feel like the AI really wants it to move up close and start hacking away at our resources. Both hit points and skill points vulnerable at that point. So everything really going our way when we get into a battle of this nature. Again, not the most exciting thing, but it's something we can manage fairly easily. Still picking up 13 experience even after the level up off of those. Wow, I went way too far. I fell for the very thing I said was kind of a red herring. Gonna just go for the stairs down here. Picking up a treasure out of this portal, yielding some raining rocks. And yet another treasure there. So maybe the game was going out of its way to give me a little time back for all those battles. But we'll take a fairly uneventful run through the second floor and see what the third has to offer. Fairy's Orb here, opening up the third floor beautifully. Got a rather large room right off. And before we go any further, let's go ahead and cast an old rock and top ourselves off hit point wise. 557, not a terrible mark for us, but I'd much rather start from 701. Portal here right at the juncture. Got more Grand Cold and more Spectres. Well, just Spectre. Dead end beneath us with another portal. Probably going to skip that and move off to the right. Already out of SP, so we gotta go ahead and replenish. Should at least get it down to half health this time through. I mean, even marginal hitting should have done that. 3 more Ganrons, we've got it under 600. So we're getting more or less 100. Not always over, not always under. Right in around that range, though. I sort of like to know rough ranges going in. That just makes me feel more comfortable when I'm looking at the gauge as to when I need to heal and whatnot. Not always the quickest on the fly, so it helps for me to see the numbers. Just gives me peace of mind and allows me to anticipate a little further. If that's not your playstyle, completely get it. Here's an Iron Ball Mania. Monster's definitely known for doing large bits of damage in single swings. Of course, we've actually got a little life drain off of it so far. Also, massive hit point total, over 3,500 hit points. Versus level 35, that's a bit, that's a haul. All of a sudden we're down in critical health. Saw that massive two-handed swing. Dropped us from fairly high up too. So you can't sleep on the Iron Balls. Giants with bit of an unusual attire choice. Gonna keep going right here. Got a square room with a portal right in the middle. This one's gonna give us a risky treasure. Out of said risky treasure, we grab a Resurrect and the Moon. And now just one more portal between us and the exit. Giving us yet another Iron Ball Mania. Getting some fantastic damage in on it. Well over 1,000 damage into this thing, and we're just now cracking half. We're down under 200, it's down under 200, we get some life steal, and that's the ball game. 18 experience and a treasure chest. Gotta love that, even if it is just the Fool. Also a treasure chest in the room yielding a Raging Earth, and just like that we are heading to floor number 4. Again, apologies for those of you completionist-minded out there who were hoping for the all clear. Just no time. Next week I'll have a little vacation time, so I should have a little bit of play on when I record things, and should be able to get quite a bit more done than I was today. Here we got a couple skate rat arcs, and that's never a good feeling. Able to resurrect, able to hit for a fair bit of damage, and able to paralyze, so I'm going to keep that health topped off as much as I possibly can. Also, did I mention their melee attacks have life drain? Because their melee attacks have life drain. Hopefully that attack was just enough to get us over. Yep, 14 experience there. Managed to take out one skate rat arc, which is great because that means they're not constantly reviving each other. Now we just have to survive an encounter with one-on-one, and we do that quite handily. 28 experience picked up there. Looks like we've reached our final floor, so let's go ahead and cut our way to the treasure chests. Iron Ball Mania here, very nice pickup. Take a nice one-on-one battle. 470. I think we can chance 470. I think that's just high enough. Sure enough, it pops us down to 180. We'll Healing Potion back up to 580, but you see the kind of damage it can throw. There, it takes us to 280. We Healing Potion back to 680. All the while, we're hitting for pretty steady damage, and the Iron Ball Mania down before you know it. Again, the kind of things you don't really want to be fooling around with too much. You hit them and you move on. And you grab some well water out of some dead bodies, apparently. Weird drop out of there, but that's the way it rolls with this Earth Field, and we will take it happily. One-on-one with the Skate Rat Arc. Yet another thing we'll take happily. All sorts of life drain going off there. We both hit simultaneously with life drain, and then Gogs with a life drain on the subsequent attack. So all the life being traded like baseball cards in the cafeteria, that's a topical reference. Actually, it kind of is. Card market bounced back a few years ago. Don't know if it's really 8-year-olds, though. Got a Grand Cold in the Skate Rat Arc. Gonna see if we could sneak that Grand Cold out, and in fact we could not. So let's just keep attacking the Grand Cold, A, so we don't have to worry about spell damage, and B, so we can keep the Skate Rat Arc trying to res it. Sneak in what damage we can in the interim. If this seems like a counterproductive strategy, it may well be, but it's a counterproductive strategy that's kept me from getting paralyzed and getting the old double whammy of life, steal attack, and ice spell. Can't believe he actually got a third res off there. Golden Egg blocks our attack. What is that nonsense? Positioning is key, folks. But we've got the Skate Rat Arc under 400. As it keeps trying to resurrect the Grand Cold, we finally say, hey, you win, and then we kill the Skate Rat Arc. 2 hits later and the Grand Cold is down, and again, it was a little time consuming, but I feel that was a pretty quality way of going after it. Do kind of feel we cheesed that though. So maybe, just maybe, we should go after one more portal up. Paragrand Cold from the Skate Rat Arc. Really know how to do myself in on these, don't I? Suppose nothing doing with the distraction contest here. Just go after the Skate Rat Arc, get rid of the resurrection possibilities, because we are not surviving if we get paralyzed with the 2 Grand Colds out. Saw that Skate Rat Arc's melee attack locked us in place, and due to us moving and it moving in opposite directions, it was a melee strike from very far out. That final paralyze attempt failed, which was great news for us because we're 2-on-1 against Grand Colds. While that can be sort of intimidating for a melee attacker, we fight our way through handily. Sometimes you gotta know when to call it a day, and when you see a portal like that, you kinda know that whatever experience you got out of this is what you're gonna get. Could push it a little further, certainly haven't had our worst day playing, but again, the end goal is the treasure. We've cleared enough to get there. Let's see what our buddy Yarthkins has been holding for us in the box. An oak anklet, a rainbow card, and a health charm. 3 very decent treasures for a very decent dungeon. If you get a chance, go ahead and join one of the best kept secrets in gaming today. Fragment, available to play and patched in English in 2021. Every Fragment Friday can turn into a bit of a digital block party over on the NetSlum Discord. Try and get some groups running, get some lively chat in the voice chat. If you get the chance to party up and run this field, let me know how it goes. In the meantime, this has been a grumpy old guy gaming, with GOG sitting about a little under a third of the way to 32. Thanking you for watching. Take care, and we'll see you around.